You see, this is what's so difficult about social media, is getting a point across. Like, if people don't want to hear your point, they're not going to listen to your point. Go ahead, pause to read this. You know what, better yet, I'll read it for you. Bowling balls have been absorbing oil since 1992 when the Excalibur was released. There is nothing new about current bowling ball technology than 10 years ago. That first sentence that man just said proved my entire point about equipment today. Now, he might have a valid point in saying that, you know, some of these players, the top professional golfers, could be using irons from 10 years ago and be just as good or competitive as if they were using brand new irons from today. But the comparison really isn't about the irons necessarily. It's about, like, taking clubs from 1960, you know, the old woods that they hit 100 yards less distance than what the new clubs do, the new irons, the new woods. And the difference between irons and bowling balls is those irons can be regrooved, they can be cleaned up, they can be fixed, that stuff. And they stay at top performance as long as you take care of them. Bowling balls, you can't keep them at top performance for very long. So that first sentence he said, the Excalibur has been absorbing oil since the beginning. All the reactive balls have been absorbing oil since the beginning, which is my point exactly. Not only have cover stocks gotten stronger, so today's cover stocks are nothing like those cover stocks from the 90s, but the absorption rate has changed dramatically. And when these bowling balls get this oil absorbed in them, their ball reaction changes like a lot. Today's bowling balls, you only get top reaction out of them for maybe 30 games. And that's if you're taking care of them. Do you think that these top professional bowlers they're drilling new balls every single week for no reason? You think we just say there's such a thing as new ball carry for no reason? So you take a 10-year-old bowling ball that is so oil-soaked that not only is the technology from 10 years ago so much weaker than bowling balls of today, even though this person seems to have claimed that technology hasn't changed and they're just reusing cores and stuff, you need to really look into this a little bit better. But not only are the technology from 10 years ago a lot weaker than today, but if that ball has been absorbing oil and has been being used, that 10-year-old ball is basically going to be a dart. Can you get it to make some motion? Sure. Can you get it to hook the lane if you do the right thing? Sure. But is it going to give you the room for error and the power that a new bowling ball is going to give you? Absolutely not. Could a professional bowler use a ball from 10 years ago in specific times? Yes. Like Anthony Simonson when he had that grenade, that urethane ball that he used in specific occasions. Can't do it now because of the new rules, but still. The point is, yes, those guys are good enough to use some of the old equipment and use them in very specific areas. Just like some of the professional golfers have some really old woods and things that they use in specific situations because they know them perfectly and they are exactly for certain situations. But anybody that thinks that they're going to compete on tournament patterns with people who have full arsenals of brand new bowling balls, you're out of your mind. Unless it's an amateur tournament and you have a guy like Belmo going in with just a urethane ball, he's probably got a pretty good chance of winning still. That's just because the talent level is just so different. So the example to be using is, give an amateur golfer a driver from 2023, have him hit it, and then have them hit a driver from 1960. See if they can tell the difference. See if one's more forgiving than the other. How much farther is that new driver going to hit the ball? Because even if you clobber that old driver right perfectly on the sweet spot, the new driver is going to outdrive it. Now, do I believe that a lot of today's technology is recycled from just a few years ago and they're reusing some of these cover stocks because they were that good of a cover stock? Well, yeah. Like, they've came up with these specific cover stocks that have been being used for quite a while, like Storm with their high road cover, that RS2 or RSX or whatever it is. I don't know them very well. I don't know them by name. But like the high road cover, the ones like now the one that's put on the Dark Code, those covers, they're going to reuse those covers on different bowling balls. Now you've got Brunswick that came out with HK22, and you're seeing most of the bowling balls come out with that cover on it. Why would they do that? Because it's that good. But you bet your ass 10 years from now, that cover is going to be obsolete and it's going to look like it goes straight compared to some of the balls that are going to come out in 10 years. It just keeps getting better. They just keep figuring things out and making things do more. You think they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on research and development just to keep bringing out old technology? If that's the case, why do they need R&D? Why do they need all these guys there? Just keep remaking old bowling balls and you're good. And like even these bowling balls like the CUDA and stuff, the Rhinos that they're bringing back, they're not the same technology as back in the day. They're not truly remakes. They're updated technology to give you some similar type of motion of what people remember. Which reminds me, I'm going to make another video. Daniel Epps asked a question about taking care of bowling balls. I'll respond to that here in a minute. But this is all I really had for this. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew and we're on the same page. This is the comparison we're talking about. Bowling balls don't last forever. Irons, 10 years ago, you can get them regrooved, you can fix them, you can still hit them pretty well. I understand the point he was trying to make. He's just off base.